while we're talking.
Yeah.
Well, just like that. And then when there's like a good break spot, then one of us should.
What's up, guys and gals?
Hello.
That was smooth.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I interrupted your intro, but that was pretty good.
It's fine. It's fine, man. It's okay. After that very awkward cold open that we did tonight, hope you people enjoy that one. But yeah, this is the Red, White, and the Blues podcast. I'm Daniel, and I'm joined, as always, by my main bro, Chacho Nacho, that fella right over there, Jason. How you doing, man?
What's up, Bro Taco? If I was a more seasoned podcaster, I would have waited until now to compliment your mic thing. So I'm taking that little nugget and putting it in here for next time.
No problem. I like that. So, I decided tonight that... So this is, I guess, going to be an Aston Villa review episode, whatever, who knows where the train will take Jason and me by the end of the night. But I just decided to skip all the bullshit. Let's just go to the end of the match, okay? So we're new approach this episode. If you came here to get Jason and mine's honest reaction, we're not teasing you. We're not gonna edge it. We're just gonna give it to you straight off the bat. We're not one of those podcasts. We're not gonna be, hey, wait around to the end to get our reaction. We're gonna just do everything in the beginning. So yeah.
Roll the tape.
Don't have those media rights.
Oh. I don't. I think I forget how podcasts work.
Yeah. I mean, well, to be fair, we are on YouTube, so.
Yeah. I forget how. Yeah. Why haven't they called? Never mind. Well, you and I will talk about some things off camera.
Okay. I love our off-camera conversations. But I don't think my wife does though.
We'll talk about that also off camera.
They just last too late into the night, Jason.
I mean,
what are you gonna do?
We're a couple of best friends.
I know, BFFs, man. Anyway, back to the Aston Villa game. We drew 2-2, and it's all thanks to the stupid ref's fault. Well, that's what most people would have you believe, and I would believe that. And Jason, I think, is not as quite as on board with, like, I don't want to say killing because that's wrong. I don't want to say, like, hurt. I don't want to wish ill will on the man or his family or anything. I don't really know what to do. Like, I don't know.
You struck just the right tone of joking there, by the way. Like, it was almost across the line.
That's what we do in the podcast. We push it to the line. And then, but yeah, so the controversy, we can't show you the video for obvious reasons, or we technically could because we're not monetized yet. So what are they gonna do? Take away our money that we don't have? Anyway, yeah. So corner kick, and Palmer kicks the ball into the box. I think somebody deflected it to Badiashile. I don't remember who. Something happened. It ends up in Badiashile's foot. He puts the ball back in. First good thing he's done all year. And puts it right on the head of DCC. And he puts it in the back of the goal.
Right at the keeper, too. Right
yeah.
above the keeper's head. Right between the top bar and the keeper's head. In between the hands.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
The keeper's flailing. It goes right in. It was great.
Yeah. And then everybody goes crazy and woo, yeah. And then I'm just like, something doesn't seem right here. What is wrong? And then we get the controversy. Badiashile breathed on the defender and he flopped. And that's my opinion. That's what I think happened. I don't know. Let's just get into it. I know we talked about it a little before the podcast got on the air, but there's two ways I guess you can look at this. You can either look at it like, yeah, that's a foul. It should technically, by the law of the book, maybe that's a foul, whatever. And another way you can look at this, which I think is sort of the way we're looking at this, is how far is VAR going to go in re-refereeing a match?
Right.
So I'll let you sort of give your spiel about it because I thought your spiel was pretty. It's going to be a lot more logical than my spiel is.
I'm trying to remember everything that I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I will say I'm in agreement. There's some other Chelsea people too that are in agreement that it's pretty soft foul.
Yeah.
Irregardless of how it went down, like it's still really soft. And so I think I can see it going either way. Like I think where the pros are in the Badiashile column is he's playing the ball and he's jockeying for space. Some people are saying he's using his forearm. I'll have to go back and rewatch the tape. I don't remember using him as forearm. Like I mean, you're taught to play the shoulder, right? Like I don't think that he's like, or not really taught to play the shoulder, but like you're taught not to push off, at least in a guy's back. And I don't think that's what he's doing at all. Like I think he's jockeying for space. It just happens to be to the back of the defender, and that guy's just weak, and so he gets shoved off. Like it's not even like a bad shoving off. It's just I think Badiashile is jockeying for space, and that guy's lucky that he's a pussy. So what happens there is Badiashile then gets the ball. And the controversy to me, like if Paulson calls this on the field, I'm gonna be upset. I don't like it. I'm gonna say it's soft. I'm gonna rant about the softness of it. I'm gonna say all the things I just said as positives in Badiashile's column. Sorry, beer. I went and grabbed some beer right before the pod. So I'm gonna say all the things I just said, but the ref has a great view of this.
Mm-hmm.
He's right there. He's watching it. And he doesn't call it on the field.
Yep.
And then we score. VAR gets involved, says it needs an on-field review.
And at that point it's getting reversed.
Yeah. And so he goes to the monitor. He sees every angle. He sees it at various speeds. And he comes back and he disallows the goal. So that to me is the controversy. Like not necessarily that they're going to call a soft foul in the box because that just happens and it sucks that we would be on the receiving end of that. But like at least you would have a ref that made a decision on the field. And so are we at a point now, which we have talked about this on this pod before. Are the refs waiting for VAR to step in, and does that affect their play calling on the field? Yeah. And I think most definitely we just watched that happen in real time in a very obvious and blatant way. In ways that we haven't seen. I mean, like we could probably point, like at least for us, like it's incredibly blatant and it's incredibly obvious what just happened. When does and you use the words when we were talking about this before, clear and obvious, right? Like
that's the key.
Like why does he get to go re-ref that after the fact? And they take their sweet time with it. It's like a 3 to 4 minute review. Like, why does he get to go re-ref it? Why do you get to go change your mind?
Yeah.
Why? So VAR is essentially just letting refs get something like that isn't clear and obvious in this case, and they're getting it right by just being able to go re-ref it. So that to me is where the controversy is. That's why I'm pissed off about it. Like if Paulson calls out on the field, I think it's frustrating and I think it's soft. I think you can see it as a foul if you want to as a ref, and I think that a lot of refs would. But why does he get to redo his call? Why does he get a redo? And that's where VAR I think is such an inconsistent piece of crap. So,
and that's my biggest issue with this whole thing is the multitudes of inconsistency across the board. Because number one, I have a problem with the foul, even being a foul to begin with, because if the roles were reversed and Badiashile was going for the ball like that and the defender put his shoulder into his back and bumped him off the ball in the box, it would never be a penalty in a million years. And nobody would call for it to be a penalty. Nobody in their right minds would think that. Like, if that happened to one of our players, but that's not a penalty. That's soft. It's just like you were saying, the foul is soft, regardless. Like, if the roles reversed and that happened to Battaglia, no Chelsea fan would be like, yeah, that's 100% a penalty. Like, that should have been a penalty, you know? Like, no, it's just two players coming together because he backs into Battaglia. Now, does Battaglia dip his shoulder a little bit and go have contact with him? Yes, but soccer is not a contactless sport.
Right.
Like,
what's he supposed to do there?
Yeah. Like, he stands there, the guy backs into him and probably falls down, and then he gets called for a foul anyway because the other dude's a dumbass and just fell down. So, like, I have an inconsistency with the foul, and then an inconsistency with the officiating because apparently you're allowed to push people down in the box, like I said, if you're on defense. Because this happened to us earlier at Brentford in the season. Palmer played Sterling through over the top, and the Brentford guy two-hand shoved Sterling in the back, down in the box. VAR never looked at it. 2 weeks ago, whenever we were playing Man City, Grealish, clear hand on the ball. That's something that's easy for the official to miss.
Yeah.
He's in a wall. There's bodies everywhere. That I could understand an official missing that. VAR needing to go back and correct it, but VAR doesn't even take a look at it.
Right.
And then this week, something that the referee was staring at, was looking at, had a clear line of vision for, and VAR's like, nope, that should be a foul.
Right.
And it's just complete. It's just a complete farce at this point in time to me. Like, VAR, the officiating in general is a farce. Like, the inconsistencies across the board, the lack of any kind of repercussions for officials is just downright disgusting. Like, the fact that they can fine managers and players for speaking out against officials, but officials can cost points to teams and not even face any kind of ramifications for that.
Right.
It's just like it is just mind blowing how the Premier League is the best league in world football and yet has some of the shittiest officials.
Yeah. Yeah, in spite of the officials.
Yeah, in spite of the officials. Yeah.
I think it's ruining the game.
It is. Like, somebody suggested the other day, the other thing I don't understand is, we've now had the technology for, when was World Cup? 2022? Was that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Qatar. So we've had the technology for 2 years now to implement robot VAR officials with the lines. And it worked. It was the quickest, most efficient thing ever at the World Cup. And you can't tell me that you couldn't have had that up and running in the Premier League by now.
Yeah. I would rather not have VAR at all. Like, I would take, like, if they want to introduce robots, that's fine. I think you got to have either or. Like, keep VAR with the robots, or I don't even want to say that. That's weird. But, like, introduce the robots, or just let the linesman call it and be 90-something% right. And I'd rather have that. I'd rather have that than VAR.
See, I think I'm to the point where I'd rather have. I don't want. See, I think like that's the thing. VAR could be a great tool. VAR just needs to realize that more is not better. Less is better in this situation. The less VAR has to be involved, the better. But they think the more that they involve in the games, the better that the games are. But that's just completely not true.
Yeah.
I think, give me the robot linesman because it's the quickest, most efficient way to determine. Like, we ain't got to sit here and draw these damn lines and take 10 minutes to determine whether somebody's toenail is off sides or not. It's the most ridiculous thing ever.
Well, they wanted a human element in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'd rather just have
balloons.
I'd rather just have all human element. Like, if you want a human element, like, they're straddling this line here that I think is ruining the game. Like I don't think the game wasn't ruined for me when we still just had only a human element. And we didn't have, like, the controversy over a call sometimes. I mean, Chelsea literally is the victim of, like, a phantom goal. And it's like I think I enjoyed the games more when those types of things were happening, even if it cost us points ultimately. Because VAR has also just cost us points. I'd rather at least like enjoy the game and get costed points than not enjoy the game and get costed points. Like I think that's where I'm at. Like the game was way more enjoyable. Like I don't even know whether or not I'm allowed to celebrate a goal anymore.
True. That is
like I have to wait. Like goals used to mean like the world to me, and now they just come with a trepidation of like, or a relief of, oh, okay, good, I actually can celebrate that one. Doesn't look like we're gonna get effed over.
Yeah.
And I'd rather just have that, like, or I'd rather just have like the human element and like introduce robotic offside since it works.
That's the way I think.
But
That's
really,
where I land.
yeah, we just got a too many cooks in the kitchen situation now. Now we got like a group of refs all deciding the outcome of a game. Like there's a little ref council now that decides the outcome of a game. I'd rather there just be the on-pitch ref that gets it wrong or gets it right, and we go on about our lives. Like, and then we can talk about the controversy about how dumb the ref is. But I think VAR is ultimately making them worse refs because this guy just waited for VAR to come bail him out. Or he just straight up missed a call because he knew VAR would bail him out.
Yeah.
So he's either not as good at his job or he's good at his job and like purposely not doing things in hopes or like because he has a safety net underneath him.
Yeah. I don't know.
Or whatever. Add in whatever motivation. Add in whatever. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's making the refs worse. It's making the game worse. I say get rid of VAR. And we can have the robots if we want them. But I'd rather have a robot that does its job than like a council of humans that are actively ruining the game.
It is annoying. And it's one of those things. Like you said, goals don't mean anything anymore because you score a goal. And I just love how you nonchalantly like just stared at the camera as you open that beer.
I was paying attention.
I know. It was great. I loved it. Anyway, but yeah, a good cracking of a beer can is just going to distract me because it's such a great sound.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm distracting. I'm only distracting you this episode.
Do not apologize for that amazing sound. I love the sound of a beer can opening.
Okay.
No, it's a great sound. But yeah, VAR, they've got to figure something out because, like you said, goals used to mean something. Nowadays, it's like somebody scores and we hold our breath for a minute or two, waiting to see if we can celebrate or not. Like we just look at each other like, can we celebrate? Can we do anything? Like, is this okay?
Yep.
And that's my problem with this whole thing. Is the wording in the language of VAR is clear and obvious error. And I don't see that as being a clear and obvious error during our match. Now, however, if you tune into the Arsenal and Tottenham match on Sunday, and I believe it was Michael Oliver was reffing the match, and Declan Rice decided to kick somebody in the quad, as Michael Oliver's staring right at it. Still don't know how this was missed. Like, in the box, clear as day penalty. Michael Oliver doesn't call anything. VAR steps in and gives Tottenham the penalty. That I'm completely okay with. How Michael Oliver didn't call it on the pitch just speaks to how terrible of an official he is.
He knows VAR will bail him out.
And see, yeah, and I think that proves your point that this is making officials worse. Because they're waiting, instead of being decisive and in control of a match, they're being restrained and not doing things. Maybe that's why some refs, like, we're not seeing as many yellow cards as I feel like we should in some matches. Like, they're just like, well, if it's going to be a red card and it's a, aggressive tap, I don't know. It's just so many little variables in this that overall it's more annoying and I think hurtful to the game than helpful. Because what is nobody's talking, like, when you leave a match, when Chelsea and Villa got done playing on Saturday, the talking point should have been Chelsea come back from a 2-0 win, or Chelsea come back from 2-0 down to win 3-2. Everybody should have been talking about our on-the-field tactics or what Poch did at halftime
Right.
Thiago Silva gave the players an arousing speech that inspired them to play beyond their means and anything that Poch could ever inspire them to do.
Wait,
but-
I haven't heard this.
Oh, we'll talk about it. Yeah, so
Okay.
apparently, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
We'll finish our VAR talk first, and then we'll get to the halftime talk.
Okay.
But yeah, the thing with nobody's talking about any of those things. It's all about the controversy in VAR. Was it a foul? Was it not a foul? This and that with the penalty. Like, that's all the game's talking about now. It's all about the officials and all about VAR, and not about the players on the pitch or the manager or the tactics, which is what it should be about. And that the VAR is just taking too much from the game and not giving enough back to the game. If that makes sense in a way.
Yeah,
So, I don't know.
absolutely. I agree completely.
They have
It's ruining it. It's ruining it.
raped and pillaged soccer, as we know.
The refs are the Vikings and with the helpless little.
If we have any Vikings on this
coastal
email,
villages.
yeah. If there's any Viking listeners out there, we're not talking about you. Just ignore
Oh yeah, is that offensive?
I don't know. Oh,
Are there still Vikings out there?
You can't, Jason. I don't know. That's why I just say what I say on this podcast.
Yeah.
I will be, if we get canceled one day, I will 100%. It's gonna be my fault because I just say whatever. I can't. I don't know what cancels you these days and what doesn't cancel you.
I'll say this: if you are a Viking in the year 2024, I meant no offense.
We actually went on the podcast, and I'd have so many questions. If
Oh
you're a
my
Viking
God.
In 2024.
Yes,
Like,
please
yeah.
reach out. I
Please
mean,
reach out.
no offense.
No, we actually want to have you on the podcast to have just a discussion about how the hell you're a Viking in 2024. That's the most amazing thing ever. And not a Minnesota Viking either.
I think a new podcast has been born.
Yes. We're trying
We
to
are
find
looking.
Vikings.
We are now on the search for modern day Vikings.
Hey, that sounds like a History Channel show to me, man.
I love it.
Podcast. We're going straight to broadcast television, Jason.
Yes, we get to travel.
Travel.
I can finally get rid of this background.
Hey, and the fireworks.
I've got to find out how to turn this off.
You do it multiple times but it's like what makes our podcast special. It's just great. I love it.
I guess.
I love it. No, but so yeah, that's sort of Jason and mine's thoughts on VAR. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about it. Whatever. Just hit us up, DM us on X, do whatever. Just interact with us, Do
We
something.
will respond.
We will, because nobody talks to us. Well, a few people don't say that. We do have some people.
It's been just Daniel and I for so long.
I know. We're just isolated in this little Chelsea bubble. We want to get out.
Our own little Chelsea.
Yeah, but you didn't hear about the halftime speech?
Man, I didn't get to watch any of the game, and I don't even remember yesterday. I only watched the highlights today. So Daniel and I first got on here, and he was like, I feel like I haven't seen you in forever, and it's only been a week, and it's because I haven't been like responsive to life. So yeah, you have to fill me in now, but you get the honor of doing so.
Apparently, well, I don't know if you know this. The big joke on all of X. Well, I think you know this, but it was 2-0 at halftime, and the big joke was on X. Well, we still have the start of the second half to go. Wonder how much we're going to be losing by in the next 15 minutes. And
a very valid,
like
joke that's born out of trauma for dealing with that all season.
And I mean, it's one of those jokes that's true though too. Sometimes you can make those jokes to sort of self-deprecate, but it's like it's actually true. Well, that's what
there's no half truth to the comedy this time. It is like full truth, and we're just like coping.
Truth.
Yeah,
right. It was a coping mechanism. That's a great way to put it. We were coping as fans on X. But needless to say, we came out of halftime and actually played some inspired football. Miraculously, Poch changed tactics in the second half, Jason.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
What game are we at now? 34? 35?
Yeah, something like that. It took them, half, 3/4 over. 5/8 of the season, 6/8 of the season to change
I like.
tactics
I'm
at
sure
halftime?
there is at least one or two, but I cannot remember another game this season where we came out and played well the second half. Like at least at the start of it.
Yeah. This game reminds me very much of the way that our players showed fight in this game. Reminded me very much of the Man City match earlier in the year when we drew 4-4.
Right.
It reminded me of that they didn't give up. They looked. I mean, like we ended up with like 72% possession, I think, in the first half or something crazy like that.
Oh man, yeah, that was a crazy stat.
Which is nothing new, and I think we had like one shot on target or some crap like that. It was terrible, but their goals literally came out of nothing. I mean, it wasn't like they were these worldly goals or anything like that. In the second half, we best football we've played in a very long time.
Well, I watched another reviewer say we basically went into a 3-3-3-1.
Something.
It's kind of how he characterized it because Cucurella goes more in the midfield.
Yeah, it's very similar to he played as an inverted left back essentially. He does what Arsenal and City do, like with their left backs. They invert them and put them in the midfield a lot of times. It was mostly just two at the back the whole second half. I mean, it wasn't. I don't know where the three comes in. It was just Silva and Badiashile back there.
I guess he thought Chalobah was the right back at that point,
or maybe Chalobah was, but Chalobah was getting forward.
Or DCC, I mean.
No, Chalobah was the right back.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't remember our formation. I don't remember who was playing because Chalobah was the right back.
Potts tweaked a thing.
He's tweaked something. That's the point. Let's focus on that. He tweaked something in this match, and it wasn't just. I don't know. Now I have to know what the lineup was, Jason, because it's bugging the crap out of me. Now I have to know. All right. Chalobah, DCC didn't come into the end of the match. It was Badiashile and Silva in the back. DCC came on as a sub when Silva got hurt. Later on in the match, and then Chalobah was at right back, and Badiashile was at left center back. So it was crazy. I don't know what happened. And then they played inspired football. They played like a team that actually wanted to win. And it came out after the match that apparently they did say Pot said something at halftime, but they also said, I think it was Cucurella that said Thiago Silva stood up and said something during halftime. I was like, well, Potts finally started giving them beers and cookies during halftime. And, Fat Potts.
You realized that was a bad idea.
Yeah. It took them 7/8 of the season to realize that that's a bad idea, but Fat Potch finally realized, hey, maybe I shouldn't get my guys half drunk at halftime and come out and actually play decent football in the second half. So I don't know, but yeah. So that was the inspiring halftime. But the point is, more than anything, we came out and we fought and we never gave up. And like I said, that's some of the best football. It reminded me of the preseason, very much so.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand, Jason. Maybe you can help me explain this.
Okay.
The purpose of preseason, now correct me if I'm wrong here, okay? Please feel free to step in and say, Daniel, you're a dumbass. This is wrong. That's not what preseason's for. Preseason is for figuring out what you're going to do during the regular season. Like, okay, this is the formation we're going to run. This is the thing we're going to do. This is our tactics, our main building block of stuff. Correct? Isn't that what preseason's for?
You would think.
Okay. So,
that's what I think preseason's for.
Right. So we look pretty good in preseason. I think everybody would agree. We won a trophy. I mean, it's a fake one, but we won a trophy. Why did Potts change stuff once we got into the season? That's what I will never understand.
I mean, unless you talk about the injuries.
I still don't. What did that change anything? He still had a lot. I mean, outside of Nkuku.
Yeah.
I mean, he still had a lot of the same players. Yeah. Because Lavia never showed up in preseason. He was the ghost.
Yeah, but then Lavia doesn't exist. So.
That's true. Lavia is not. I'm still not convinced he's real. That was not a real person that played for those 10 minutes earlier in the season.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, here's the thing about Potts, right? Sorry, I I got a message that I need to respond to. Here's the thing, like, and this is what we've been saying. Like, yes, it was a great comeback. This was like one of the times of the season where we came out in the second half and looked good.
Mm-hmm.
And I give credit to Silva there.
I
But
do too.
also,
100%.
Poch, it has to be said, he changed his tactics.
But did he, or
And-
was it Silva?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it could have been. I'm just saying, Jason.
Yeah, I think Poch is going to get credit for it, no matter what happens there.
I don't want to give him credit for it, Jason.
But, yeah, I think we've had a problem all season. And, like, there are two ways to look at this, right? Like, we've had a problem all season of second half being an afterthought in a lot of ways. And it has cost us a lot of points.
Yeah.
And you can look at it as, wow, it took us 33 games to finally get it. Because, like, to the point you made, Poch looked like he had a plan during preseason, and we were all happy that, oh man, we finally have a tactician
Yeah.
that, like, has an actual thought about it.
Plan?
Versus
Plan? Idea?
Graham Potter, who stubbornly played the exact same things over and over and over and over again. And Lampard, who, like, I don't even know what he was doing the last. But anyway, so, like, we go into preseason, we're all excited. And yeah, then people are playing out of position. We had injuries. Poch seems like he doesn't know what he's doing most of the time. There have been people Poch out from the beginning simply because he's taught them. Manager, there have been people that Poch out from like a few games in, considering, you know, things weren't going well. I was willing to give him until December for a long time, this coming December for a long time. And then it just finally got to be too much. And so I don't want to, like, revisionist history this, because the other way you can look at it as, no, Poch finally got it. Mm-hmm. And the players are finally getting it. And I will say, like, our players, like, we just got done going on an 8-game unbeaten streak. Then we lose to Arsenal. Then we draw again at Villa, which can be seen as a really good response to the historic shellacking that we took other side of London.
Yep.
So that's how you can look at it. Like, this is a one-off to me because it's taken all season. I do see things in some of the players that I like, that we have talked about. And I'm sure we will talk about that when we talk a little bit more about the players. But there are things that I like about some of these players. And some of these players aren't getting enough credit. And some of them are getting probably too much credit. But at the end of the day, this is just, we're still stuck in, will we build off of this and will we be a consistent team? And I don't think we can with the defense we have.
We'll never be consistent with this defense.
And so we have 5 games left of, like, really we're just learning. Yeah. Like, we're learning more about the players and we're learning more about Poch. And I'm increasingly getting scared that Poch is going to be here next season.
Oh, he's going to be here. There's no doubt in my mind at this point in time he's here next year. I've already like come to terms with it that he's going to be here next year. And as Jason turns his beer up and is like, nope, I'm not to terms with it yet. I need a couple more of these.
My beer's over. I have no more beer in the house. So
now it's time to switch to the hard stuff.
I mean, I do have that.
But yeah, I'm with you. I think Poch will be here next year. I don't think it's going to be that big of a... I think everybody is sort of starting to realize that now at this point in time. Like, everybody's starting to come to terms like, yeah, shit, he's probably going to be here next year. But I don't know. I think I mean, the only there's a few I think takeaways like with this defense. So interesting stat here for you, Jason. We have conceded now 59 goals in the Premier League in 33 games. We conceded 61 in Mourinho's first 3 years at the club.
Yeah.
In 3 years, we conceded 61. We're gonna see that. Yeah. We're gonna blow right past 61 this year. Like you said, stressful. This defense, no hope of competing with this defense. And people want to talk about how we need a striker. You ain't competing with this defense no matter what striker you bring in here because you're gonna be leaky no matter what. Like it doesn't matter.
Well, and I mean, people act like if we get a world-class striker, he's not also gonna miss chances.
Right.
Like the world-class striker is just going to make more than he misses. Like right now, we just have Nico, who if he was onside, man, that would have been a tasty goal.
Yeah, it would have been.
Crap.
Yep.
That was good. And that's what I choose to look at with Nico at this point. And I think that it's safe to look at that kind of thing with Nico because Nico does make good runs and he can find the lanes and he can get behind. And if he can finish like that, because he also had a header that he missed, that was off the post.
Yep.
So it's like if he can finish, but like you look at the offside goal, you look at like how he aimed the ball and it just happened to hit the post. Like,
yeah,
we have like a world-class striker that's also going to do that. And then we're still going to be leaky at the back. Like, I mean, we're not that bad of a side if we have a defense that you can depend on. So,
and I think, well, I mean, you got to look back too. Like, I think everybody was very high on Nico coming into the season after the preseason.
Sure.
And what changed from the preseason to now? He played more I guess he played more up top. Like him and Cuckoo were playing off of each other a lot more. He had somebody to play off of. Now he's isolated and he's asked to be a hold-up play striker, which I think he's done fairly well at.
He's decent at. He needs to get some more muscle on him.
Yeah, he does. He needs to bulk up. And I don't think that's his game. I don't think that's what he was brought here to do, but he's adjusted to that and showed that he's good at that. But, like, that's the difference. Like, he played more out wide and would cut in in the preseason as opposed to now being isolated. And you saw the preseason, him and Nkuku cooked. Like, they were, we were, like, foaming at the mouth. These two are going to tear up the Premier League this year.
Yeah.
So I think the potential, that's why I don't want to go out and sell or buy a world-class striker.
Right.
I don't think we need it. We have limited money. You buy a world-class striker, you're screwed. Like, you're done. So I just don't understand it. I don't understand that logic. We need a defender. We need a left back. We need a goalkeeper. Like, we have holes in we don't need any midfielders. I swear, if I hear another report about Chelsea getting a midfielder this summer, I'm going to lose my shit. I'm so sick of it.
That means we would have sold Gallagher and they got another midfielder.
Which would be the dumbest thing ever.
When the Gallagher-Caicedo pivot's working pretty well.
Look, that's the thing. I hate to say it. Like, I don't know where, like, if we're being honest with this, the Gallagher and Caicedo pivot is the best thing. They play better together than Enzo and Caicedo do. Like, and there's a reason, because Gallagher is better at getting back and helping Caicedo defend than Enzo is. Now, is he creative as Enzo is? No. And that's why he struggles playing the 10 whenever Enzo and Caicedo are in the pivot. Like, Gallagher's not that creative of a player. That's not what he's good at. So Poch puts him there, and he's just not good at that position. Like, and then he puts him out on the wing some matches. That's just random. That's a new thing. I don't know. But, I mean, he still hasn't got a new contract. All signs are pointing to he's going to be sold this season, which, I mean, when the new owners that are dumb have spent $200 million plus on the midfield.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You and I had this conversation like many, many weeks ago, and we're ahead on the curve of, is Enzo and Caicedo working? And I think we both agreed that we would like to see Gallagher more in the midfield with Caicedo. because Enzo pushes forward and can't get back, and at least Gallagher has the work rate and ethic to do it. I think that's what I remember us talking about.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure those.
And yeah,
We're smart, so I'm sure it was exactly like that, Jason.
You come here for tactics. I've never played professional soccer, but but like I think that we saw it then, but you hit the nail on the head. It's $200 million investment in a midfield that we're trying to make work, but the tactics we play completely isolates Caicedo, and with Enzo back there, like he's even more isolated. We've given so many balls away in the midfield, that I just don't like it's not working. I think we can agree the Enzo Caicedo thing's not working. So, because a lot of the giveaways are in the midfield, and add to that sloppy play. Add to that, I would put lack of coaching.
Yes.
Add to that fundamentals, and then add to that a weak defense, and we're in the position that we're in with a leaky back.
I mean, Caicedo had one of his best games this past week. He had one of his best games. Should have had an assist. If Madueke actually had a right foot. I don't know.
I think we'll see them continue to perform now that Enzo's officially getting his hernia surgery.
Yeah.
I can't believe they were letting him play.
Yeah, Billy, why was he playing Junior Arsenal? Why?
It's insane.
It was clear. What is our medical... Like, I did text you this, and so I was like, I can see Enzo be one of those players, like, just giving my damn jersey, I'm going out onto the pitch. Like, Enzo strikes me as that kind of guy, but at some point in time, as a medical staff, they say, dude, you need the surgery. Like, you need to get this fixed. Like, Reece James. Like, eventually, I don't know who got it through Reece's head that he needed the hamstring surgery. Because, like, dude, you keep re-aggravating it. What's the point of doing this? Just get the surgery, get it done. He's back in training, too, or partial training. So, that's a good thing.
We'll see how the medical staff F's him over.
Yeah, I hope not. But, yeah, I don't know. Caicedo had a fantastic game. Gallagher had a fantastic game. I'm with you. I think we're going to see that pivot really help do good things with the rest of these few games we have left.
It sucks that we're in such financial straits that we're thinking about selling Gallagher simply because of the words pure profit. And we have to deal with the situation that the owners have put us in. And it sucks that now that we've kind of found a place for Gallagher in this lineup that suits him well, in at least Poch's tactics, and if we're stuck with Poch, then I don't know. They all still believe in the project, I guess, because that's the propaganda machine that's now full force. Is everyone's still happy with the project, even though we're finishing ninth or whatever. Then then it does suck that Gallagher might be the scapegoat, or scapegoat's not the right word, but he might be the sacrificial lamb,
a casualty, sacrificial lamb, casualty of all of this, him and Chalobah. Like, I mean, that's the way.
Oh man,
but I mean, that's
Chalobah's way better than Badiashile.
100% better than Badiashile. Like, I would that's the thing is, like, I do have to remind myself constantly though. Chalobah is. He does tend to Chalobah things every now and then in big matches. So I have to remind myself, he is better, yes, but is he... Like, he's always struck me as an academy guy that you can bring in and start if somebody's injured, and he can play cup games. Like, I think that's Chalobah's ceiling. Like, and realistically in a Big Six club. Could he go start every week for some, like a Brentford or a Sheffield or I don't know, one of the bottom half of the table? Think, he totally could do that. If that's what he wants to do and he wants playing time week in and week out, I say we sell him. But, if he wants to be at the club, let him stay at the club. And that's the point, though, you were making, and I'm just making it really long and elaborate that doesn't need all this. But why do we buy Badiashile to begin with? Or why do we buy DCC to begin with when we had Chalobah? And when you look at their record at Monaco and how terrible they were when they were paired together at Monaco and their defensive record, what were we thinking? So it's just,
Thaddeus Shealy did look at as like a good signing at one point.
He did, and then he got hurt, and he just
Yes.
has been trash since he came back from being hurt, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And decency's never been like Chalobah. I rate slightly higher than decency, like not by much. I think they're very similar players. I just never understood the point of buying decency when you had a Chalobah.
Yeah.
I never understood that. So,
but sorry, you take it in the direction you want to take, and then I'll ask you a question later.
no, go ahead. I'm done.
It kind of just piggybacks off of what we talked about last week
All right.
in terms of.
Let's piggyback, Jason.
Well, let's just reassess. I
don't know why I did that.
I like how you like what is that? What is that animal?
Know. It's not a pig. It's like a kangaroo or some shit.
Yeah. You kangarooed it.
Kangaroo.
Okay, let's kangaroo back
Here,
this thing.
you come hop in my pouch. Jason.
I'm about to hop up in your pouch right now. So last week I think we talked about feels like a lifetime ago.
It does.
Last week we talked about what would we rather invest in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we
did.
You and I, because you asked that question, and it was a thought thing. But you and I both, I think, quickly agreed, even though we also elongated that point.
Yeah.
Sorry, I saw you make a face at me. I knew that was there. And then I made faces at you while you were not looking at me. But I think we talked about that point long enough. About you and I both think defense will win you a title.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I was just going to put forward, like, after this game, are you still happy with our attack? Because I know Mudryk was in the attack, and Mudryk...
I'm not happy with Mudryk.
Mudryk is Mudryk.
Mm-hmm.
Madueke in attack. Give me the little thumbs up.
I give you a half a thumbs because I'm still not sold on Madueke. I have my issues with him.
Goal and assist in this game.
He did. He did have one assist. And he does
so Madueke, and also like gets cooked down that line and just gives up.
He's terrible defensively. He's not getting back. He's not tracking back defensively.
So
he's Hazard never tracked back deep. I'm okay with one guy not tracking back defensively.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I'm actually pretty okay with Nico at the moment.
Nico. I have no problem with Nico.
Nico is sitting on 10 goals and 4 assists, and if he had scored even one or two things from the last couple of games that he had the options to score, he is level with Havertz, and Havertz is now getting sucked off across. And this is the level of punditry, right? Because Havertz is like okay. Havertz is mid. Yeah, Havertz is okay. 12 goals and 6 assists, and he only passes Nico at the Arsenal game, and in the last game they just played against Tottenham. Like, he only passes Nico after that Arsenal game. He's only like 1 goal ahead after that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you can't tell me that like Havertz in this Arsenal side, but because Arsenal are being crazy successful right now, Havertz is going to get sucked off. He's being called the signing of the season.
He's how?
There was literally an ESPN video that was like, "Is Havertz the signing of the season?" Which tells you everything you need to know.
You know, right? Exactly.
But at the same time, like, the fact that that's even a headline just goes to show you the level of like punditry and commentary that surrounds this sport right now.
Because they don't look at anything. Like,
it's ridiculous. Like, he's also played 4 more games than Nico has this season.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure he's played more. Well, I don't know. Nico.
But like, I was watching somebody say something, and they were like, it was Goldbridge. It was Mark freaking Goldbridge. And I just watched like his reactions to the goals from the match, you know, and because I just think it's interesting. Like Mark Goldbridge does amazing stuff, and he just is a force to be reckoned with in this medium. But like, he is a Man U fan, so I like to see, like, when he's watching other games, I like to see his reactions. And he said, like, on one of his highlight reels. Like, oh, Nico scored a goal surprisingly. And I'm like, the dude has 10 goals this season. Like I understand that he's gone through like a thing like where he just hasn't scored expected what you would think. But like, I think I was looking up. I'm just gonna do it right now. Like, I'll just take a minute to look it up. Like, Nico has expected goals.
Just for while you're looking that up, whatever you're looking up, just to clarify that Hoyland, who is the striker up and coming, supposedly next big shit thing for United, has 8 goals and 2 assists this year. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Goldbridge. I mean, Hoyland has done shit all this year.
Nico has 14.8 expected goals. Like, I'm not saying like, we've talked about expected goals. We've talked about how Chelsea views expected goals. They think we should be in 4th because of expected goals. I'm just saying, like, the point of expected goals is, were you in a position to get a goal? Mm-hmm. And Nico on average per like over the season is at a 15 expected goal rate. Like he puts himself in positions. Like we talked about this last game. He puts himself in positions, he gets between the lines, he can do hold up play. I think if you go back and watch that Man City game in the FA Cup, he was holding up in the midfield decently well for portions of that game. Like, he's super young and we still got a ways to go with him. But like, I'm okay with Nico. Like, what I'm upset about is like, he's sitting on 10 goals right now and 4 assists. And Havertz is only marginally better over the last couple weeks that he did become better with 12 goals and 6 assists. And Havertz is getting sucked off right now. And Nico surprisingly scores a goal. That did get called offside. But like, surprisingly, when over the course of the season has built up to a double-digit goal scoring thing. Like in his first season in the Premier League. So I just get upset when people...
That's the thing. How many seasons has Havertz been in the Premier League?
And Havertz is worth double Nico, supposedly. Yeah. So it's like...
Yeah. That's my thing. It's like,
whatever you want, man.
Like, when you look at a signing, you have to take into context how much that signing cost and how much that signing contributed to your team.
Right.
If you like look at it that way, like, there's this picture side by side of have somebody from an Arsenal fan account posted today is like, Havertz has the same number of goals as Cole Palmer does if Cole Palmer didn't have any penalties.
Right.
Which is true, but Cole Palmer also costs 20 million less pounds than Havertz does. Cole Palmer has not played regular in the Premier League for the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that your guy who has played consistently in the Premier League and started for the past, this is what, 4th year now? He's played 3 for us, I think. Yeah, played 3 for us. Is his 4th year starting in the Premier League, can only get 11 goals. And our guy who has never started in the Premier League and is younger can get 11 goals. Do you realize you're not making an argument for Havertz, you're making an argument for Palmer, right?
Right.
And then on
Cole
top of that,
Palmer also has 9 assists.
Right.
He has 9 assists.
Like, that's the thing. Is like and that's the fact that just let Arsenal have it. Just let them have it. I don't care. City, please, dear
God,
God,
I hope City wins.
Like,
man,
I never thought I'd hear that come out of your mouth, Jason. But like, Liverpool was unchoked it away. Dear God, I hope City win the league. Like, I've never wanted City to win the league before. I hope they win it this year.
I am way more upset at the Liverpool loss in the EFL Cup final now than I was then.
Yeah,
and it sucked then, and now they've just capitulated throughout the season. It makes that they're going to be able to hold on to that win, and it was against us, and that's the only thing they're going to get this season.
Yep.
It's outrageous.
People are talking about, I just loved everybody when they were like, "Ooh, Liverpool was in it for the quadruple." I'm like, guys, y'all are dumb. Just stop.
Yeah.
Liverpool ain't winning the quadruple. Like, it's not happening. But anyway, yeah. Anything else about the Villa match you want to add, Jason?
No, man. I think that there is. I'll just end with this. Like, this, it was a welcome relief when we drew. Like,
Yeah.
and like we actually had chances to win it in the end. Now they blew some big chances and we blew some big chances. But that's just football, I think.
Football.
And that's just how it's gonna go. But like I am proud of this team.
Yeah.
I don't want to like get into the weeds about like did Potts Potts deserves some credit, I think, but like unless it was Silva. But at the end of the day, like we actually did show improvement, even though it was a draw. And going down 2 at half, I think is usually considered a death knell for us.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
And we came back from it. So
at least this season.
Yeah,
At
for
least
sure.
this season is a death knell for us.
So I am like proud of the boys in some way. Like I am, and I've on this podcast at least been famously like, this is the worst Chelsea team I've ever watched, and I have not enjoyed watching them. And I am coming, and I've said this like a few times over the course of the like over the last several weeks, but there are players that I'm coming to really like, and I'm growing to like, and you can kind of see things coming together. And I still don't trust Poch as a coach or a manager.
No.
And I don't ever want to forget that, like, we're doing well in spite of what I think is really poor coaching, and poor man management, and poor in-game management, and poor schedule management, even though we literally play like one time a week.
Yeah,
So, and poor medical team management, which like isn't Poch, but still like, man, our medical team's got to get together. Like, I think that like we are helping to grow a bunch of kids in a bunch of turmoil that has been created from the top down. So in the midst of that, like to go to Villa and to scrape a point from being 2-0 down at halftime, when that's usually been a thing that we can't do all season, I think should be commended. And so I'm super pumped about that, but the whole VAR conversation I think is still valid. The refereeing situations I think are still valid. Poch wasting opportunities is still valid. Like, all of those conversations are still there. Like, I don't want this to like plaster over or be a band-aid over anything, because I do think that there are still some real conversations that surround this club. But kudos to the club for pushing forward after, I'll say it again, an historically bad loss against one of our biggest rivals that we might have just possibly helped to get to a title.
God.
And I will never forgive Poch if Arsenal win the title.
Yep.
So,
and I mean, that's the thing, is like, I think that you have to, like, you can give Poch his flowers when he has a good match, but when I can count the number of good tactical matches he's had this season on one hand, that's not what I want my coach. And it's like, it's like you keep saying, like, the revisionist history. Like, if Poch, for some miracle, holds on and can miraculously get us to Europe this year or next year in Europa League or whatever, or the Conference League.
Conference, baby.
Conference League, the only one we haven't
going
won.
for that European hat trick.
That's right. So, I don't know. If you can, so be it. Whatever. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm still not sold on them. I don't think I ever will be.
We have, at least for our club, we have 5 games left in the season. I'm pretty confident how I'll still feel 5 games in, or like when the season ends about Poch. But yeah, we technically still have 5 games to see what happens. But I'm with you, man. I'm still not sold on Poch at all.
I'm not either. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess that's it. I don't really have anything else to add this week. Jason pretty much covered it all. Proud of Chelsea, proud of the boys. Glad they didn't give up. They fought. Showed some intestinal fortitude, bouncing back from a good old JR would say.
That is a deep cut. And I love
that's
it.
a deep cut. Yeah. But yeah. I don't know. I guess, Jason, tell those people where they can find us.
Yo, we're at Red, White, Blues FC everywhere. Check it out down there. We are on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, thanks. like and subscribe. There's that whole thing. And then if you like banter and you like up-to-date thoughts on the things, head over to our Twitter. Daniel does an amazing job of keeping up with that. And we zeet all the people.
Right.
And we will zeet you if you zeet us. I think it's called DMing. But I'm too old to know. And then, but you can slide right in. I know that much. And Daniel also does an amazing job of writing up match reviews, posting our text message conversations when we're able to both watch the game. I haven't been able to watch as much lately, but you can find all of that and more on our Substack. And again, I'll mention that's all at Red White Blues FC.
That's right. Catch us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast at these days. We are there, not Amazon. I believe that is now we're on like a 3
You're
or 4,
doing
5.
great.
I'm doing great right now.
I'm not even expecting it anymore for you to
I
say
know.
Amazon.
I've exceeded Jason's expectations. My life is complete. I can die a happy man now. But yeah, follow us there. Tune in later on this week as I'm about to tell Jason what we're going to talk about on the next episode because he has no clue. Does Chelsea have a Mudryk problem? Dun, dun, dun.
But I might still be wearing the same clothes on the next episode. That doesn't mean we recorded on the same
right,
day.
Exactly. Definitely does not mean that. So tune in for next episode. Does Chelsea have a Mudryk problem? We'll also dive in a little bit probably to the Tottenham match that's on Friday this week.
Wow.
I think it's Friday. Is it
What the
Friday?
heck?
I don't know what the heck's going on. I just know I gotta work and I'm pissed because it's Tottenham. But
yeah, that's wild.
Is it Friday? Is that right?
I'll double check while you finish up.
No. It's Thursday at 1:30.
That's even worse.
That is even worse. Friday I could have handled. Thursday I got but yes, so we will we're gonna talk about the Tottenham match a little bit, give you our predictions about that. So yeah, tune in next episode. Does Chelsea have a Mudryk problem? Until then, catch you guys on the flip side.
Spoilers. Yes, they do have a Mudryk problem. Flippity floppity.